And that next matchup is going to be between East Trading Company and Fancy Cloud Dancers. It will happen on Fight Over Fernfeld. Fight Over Fernfeld, of course, is a very icy map with lots of medium I mean, basically any type of combat works, but lots of medium range for sure. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the ship callouts. Ship number one is the Antherium Moth. It is piloted by Mirwin. Of course, we have a Hades and a Banshee on that ship with a Gatling and a flak on the side. Ship number two, as a pause has been requested by Dimentio. It is the GFA Norwal piloted by Captain Scrobeard. As the pause has been granted by Sir Stefan. It's a Huacha fish with side Gatling and a Carronade. Ship number three is the Fancy Fairy. It is piloted by Dimentio. It is it is a Mercury Mobula with bottom deck Hades and a Gatling, a very interesting combination with on the wings a Banshee and a flare gun. And ship number four is the Humdrum. It is piloted by Spudnik. We have a Huacha and a Carronade on one side, a Lumber and a Flak on the other, with a Hades and a Flare, basically your meta galleon. As all ships are now holding position. Very good.
Meanwhile, I have confirmation on the other stream. Looks like Skyborn actually won with 2-5 score.
Skyborn moving then to the winners final. They will be meeting Zealous Rhapsody in our next matchup. However, our current matchup once again is between East Trading Company in red and Fancy Cloud Dancers in blue. As teams are waiting for the unpause, I believe they are calling the pause to get their last person in here. In fact, it looks like they're backfilling right now.
I do have to say a small edit about the rules of pausing. Pauses cannot be called during engagement, so if you're not fighting, you can call on a pause. You have one pause per match, or per team per match, I should say. 2 minutes maximum. And during the pause, you are allowed to walk across your ship, of course, but you're not allowed to move the ship or fire any of the guns.
Indeed. So, of course, nobody's allowed to fire guns or spot or do anything like that, as you mentioned. And both teams, of course, taking full advantage of those rules, and that's okay. As long as they're not spotting, as long as they're not moving. Of course, drifts can be corrected. So if you're drifting and... actually, let's check out that backfill as Inkjet, I believe, is the backfill. And in fact, Inkjet does have the correct loadout, so we should be in good shape. Unpause has been called. We are underway with our next matchup. As ships are now moving. So just to clarify on that, if your ship drifts, that is a valid reason to move, basically moving back to where you were. That's valid, so you can do that.
Yeah, you as a pilot, though, you are required to try to prevent the drift. So
yes,
the moment we call a pause, hit the brakes. I know with Mobilas it's almost impossible to hold down completely, but yeah. As long as you're not intentionally trying to drift forwards.
Yes.
I have teams trying to sneak that in from time to time.
Yeah, and of course, it's a bit of gamesmanship when it happens. Sometimes, sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not. And when teams are like, "Oops, my bad," and it's like, "Okay, let me go back," and it's no harm, no foul. But you know, of course, obviously, if you can control it, you should control it. But all these teams know what they're doing here. So these are both veteran teams. There's not going to be any foul play here as Hades going out from both teams. Lumberjack, of course, landing true on the Moth so far. Of course, as I say that, then the Lumberjacks miss. Of course. I know, right? But the Hades are landing true. Of course, as I say that, those will probably miss. Oh, no, they're hitting, actually. Those Hades from the Moth are definitely hitting there. Of course, there's a couple of them miss, but good cover. Yes, the moment I say it. But Red using a good use of cover right now, especially the Moth. That is a job well done using that tip of the gun to basically block shots. A very nice job here by the Moth. Good cover. Narwhal, of course, with them. This little of course, gun sight right here doing the job right here for the Moth. Getting good cover. Well done by the Moth. Good positioning by Red. Good positioning by both teams so far, actually. Both sides doing a good job. However, the Moth now is going to be pressured here by the Meta Galleon.
And meanwhile, the Fancy Fairy moves around a little bit, tries to push them out of the location they are at the moment. They are going to be vulnerable from that side momentarily, although they still have a bit of cover left to use.
Indeed, and this might be advantage blue here. That Watcha Fish is a bit out of place right now in this matchup, as that Watcha just goes absolutely wild. That is a desperation Watcha there, trying to get something going. Red's going to be at a bit of a disadvantage unless they can get this engagement up close. Narwhal, of course, running that side, Gatling and a Carronade, so they are basically extremely close range. However, Blue willing to take the fight up to East-Sheldon Trading Company, as both ships are going to swing around the gun and basically prevent East-Sheldon Trading Company from using that cover. Blue, of course, with the advantage at long range. Red with the advantage at close range. Of course, you've got all sorts of things in play here on the Fairy Fancy. In fact, let's take a peek from their end as the Narwhal gets hull broken. Hades going out. Looks like that's going to be extreme hull pressure by the Fancy Fairy. Hull break on the Narwhal once again. Moth also hull and balloon broken. Oh, they're in trouble here. Hades going out.
Probably are coming out. With both ships being hull broken, this heavy flex can completely decimate the entire ship. And they...
there's the Hades picking it up 1-0 in favor of Blue. Narwhal could be a
flak?
Yeah, I meant flak. I'm sorry. I meant flak. As the Narwhal has been, I know. As the Narwhal has been hull broken, and the Humdrum, are they actually going for a ram kill here? I think they're going to try for a ram kill.
Make me happy.
They're going for a ram kill. They are going for a ram kill. This is confirmed. They are going for a ram kill. The Watcha going out. I don't think they're going to get it, though. That Goldfish a little bit... the Humdrum out of position to get the ram kill. They're not going to get it here.
Nah, they lost 2 engines, so that's going to be pretty hard trying to pick up a ram kill.
Yeah, they're not going to get it. However, the Narwhal should get picked up here. Ooh, I spoke too soon. See, apparently this is where that 92.3% of the time is coming in, where I am wrong, and I am clearly showing that I am not above the fray. Not 92. We have to keep those percentages up. That's how that works.
It's, again, really, really good positioning here from the Humdrum. Just sailing above them in a good position where they can take the cover to their advantage and just shooting down on the Narwhal.
Narwhal just trying to survive right now. I don't know. I mean, their ally's going to get force spawned back in. Is this a matter of too much time being taken as the Moth gets spawned back in? I don't know if that would have been the right move. They might have considered actually going for the full respawn here. I don't know, but Blue is now in red spawn. We'll see what happens going forward. Fancy Fairy, however, might actually be the target here. In fact, it appears they are, as the Moth moving in. Narwhal looking to get the flank right here. Narwhal looking to get the flank. Will they get the flank? They might actually have it. They have a ram opportunity. They have a sandwich opportunity here. Fairy's backed up almost against the environment. Fairy, however, is going to go under. They do not pay for their transgressions. Fairy looking to do a Tiger Uppercut here. It looks like they do get a bit of a Tiger Uppercut, trying to dissuade the Watcha. They are still underneath the Narwhal. Now they get the side of the Narwhal. Humdrum moving in on the Moth, looking to basically push them out of the engagement. Watcha going into the Fancy Fairy. Hull break on the Narwhal. Will they pick it up? No, not yet.
You shouldn't ram right now.
Yeah, they definitely should not. Narwhal actually has something here. They could just basically curb stomp the Fancy Fairy. However, the Fancy Fairy just gets out of it. Oh, that could have been paid off with devastating beauty, but they do not pick it up. Narwhal really needs to time it a little bit better. That little bit of timing is going to cost the Narwhal. That actually might pick up a kill if the flak comes out. No, they're on the short side, so there will be no flak there. Fancy Fairy has been hull broken as well. And the Narwhal hull broken. Is the Banshee going to pick it up? Banshee, no.
They clutch it.
No, they do clutch it, as you said. Let's keep an eye on the Moth as they get a hull break on the Fancy Fairy. Fancy Fairy, again, just very aggressive. They're not getting punished for their mistakes right now by East-Sheldon Trading Company. Moth trying again to position, however, just a little bit of mispositioning here or there, and Fancy Fairy able to escape certain doom once again. Looks like Moth is going to push in. Pointy end goes in that direction as the Moth pushing in. They break the hole in the balloon, but no follow-up. Moth balloon broken. That Lumberjack could come into play here. Narwhal, if they get hull broken, will go down. Fancy Fairy once again hull broken. That's like 4 hull breaks right now on the Fancy Fairy in this engagement. 4 hull breaks,
Although no
still
good
not punished.
punishment from there.
And
Oh,
there's
there
the
goes the
Moth.
Moth.
Yes, indeed. Fancy Fairy picking up the kill. That is 4 hull breaks on the Fancy Fairy. No kill. There, that engineer on the hull side. Who's on the hull side of the Fancy Fairy? That would be not Lola. That would be actually Exterminator on that side. That's 5 hull breaks on the Fancy Fairy. 5 hull breaks on the Fancy Fairy in this engagement. They do get that hull back up again. 5 hull breaks, no kill on the Fancy Fairy. A job well done by that. By, of course, the engineer on that side.
Goes down.
And Narwhal goes down. Fancy Fairy picking it up. 5 hull breaks, no kill there for Red. 3-0. And just minor stuff. Just very minor stuff that East Sheldon Trading Company's doing. That little bit of positioning here and there. Just, they're not punishing the Fancy Fairy. Fancy Fairy has made a couple of mistakes in this engagement, getting into position. They could have easily been punished with a stomp or a ram or something like that. Just not paid off.
I suppose, like, each other trading company, they have, like, with that Hades and that Banshee, they have a good way to set some fires and do some damage. But those Watchers just ain't connecting on the right time when those hulls are actually down. So I guess maybe a flag would have been more fitting on the Moth, so they give a bit more kill potential. But yeah, of course we can't say since it's not that situation, but I still think the Narwhal is heavily out of play here. I think that maybe a close range Mobila would have done a lot better already.
Yeah, that Watcher Fish is just out of its element right now in this particular matchup. At least they were probably thinking, you know, Watcher Fish, Meta Galleon, etc., But yeah, I'm thinking maybe the Artemite might have been better.
Narwhal again.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe close range Mobula might have been a good call. Maybe not. I don't think Mobula would have made a difference, honestly. I really don't.
I think if you had like a bit more frontal firepower, a Gatling gun, or maybe even a Hades, you should be able to do some.
Yeah, Hades double art. Yeah, Hades double art maybe, but I think that Watcher Fish is going to be has spelled doom for East Sheldon Trading Company. However, they are in a proper position now. Is the Narwhal? Do they get the watch off? They do get the watch off. Now they're finally affecting the matchup here as they get a good watch off. All engines down on the humdrum. 4 guns as well. A job well done by the Narwhal. That should get Moth in the door.
They should indeed get them started. Although Moth isn't interested in Humdrum at the moment, he goes straight after the Fancy Fairy again, leaving the Narwhal to deal with the Humdrum, which he's of course perfectly capable of on this point. Although it looks like an ally.
Oh, this is going to be a 1v1 advantage Red. Advantage Red as they get the ram in on the Fancy Fairy. A job well done right there. Will they pick it up? Just one more shot should pick up the Fairy. No, they do not pick it up. Once again, that is 6 hull breaks on the Fairy with no kill. Exterminator doing work right now for Blue. Just, wow. Fancy Fairy balloon broken now. That is all of the component breaks on the Fancy Fairy, and they just absolutely refuse to go down. Moth looking to ram again here. 8 hull break. No, a hull break on the Moth. A hull break on the ram on the Moth. Narwhal again locking down the humdrum. 5 guns down on the humdrum. Hades going into the Fairy. Hades going to the Fairy. Will they pick up the hull? They do pick up the hull. 7th hull break on the Fancy Fairy. The balloon goes down. Will they go down finally? 7th time is the charm. On the Moth finally picking it up. A job well done by that Mobula. That hull almost got clutched, but not quite. 7th time is the charm. 3-1. Red is on the board. East Sheldon Trading Company on the board. They should actually pick this kill up as well, as Humdrum has nowhere to go. That Watcher Fish should lock down the Humdrum. In fact, there's the lockdown right there. They have no guns, 1 engine, a balloon, a hope, a prayer, and a dream. But those hopes or dreams are about to be dashed. This is about to be 3-2 in favor of Fancy Cloud Dancers. But job well done by the Fancy Fairy. They do pick up 1 kill in that engagement. So not a complete loss for Blue there. There's a kill right there. 3-2 now. East Sheldon Trading Company clearing out its spawn. But at what cost to the Moth?
Yeah, that doesn't look too good for them. Blue can just spawn back way into the open. They can just sit it out. They have 2 damaged red ships, and they do have the kill advantage and the advantage in score at the moment. So no pressure at all for them.
Yeah, no pressure at all. However, stranger things have happened in SCS. Let's not count out East Sheldon Trading Company just yet.
Well, the strangest thing that probably has happened, me seeing Hungover piloting without Tar. It's probably the strangest thing I've ever seen.
What?
I'm not sure, but he may have not used it during that match, but I was pretty sure he was flying Tar.
As the humdrum has spawned back in.
Oh yeah, good positioning from there, right in the open, where those lumberjack and heavy flags can just
Yeah.
completely devastate.
Oh,
an
speaking of
entire
which,
team.
Narwhal's been hull broken. Narwhal's been hull broken. Will they get the flags out? No, those are going to just miss here. Bad luck right there by the humdrum, but Narwhal does get hull broken again. That is, I believe, 3 hull breaks on the Narwhal. And they get that armor back up. Good job by the engineers. Camping that hole. That's a 4th hull break on the Narwhal. Still no kill just yet. Narwhal tanking it well. Armor goes back up as the Narwhal now trying to do its best Fancy Fairy impression here. However, at this range, that should be a kill. Indeed, it is 4-2 in favor of the Fancy Cloud Dancers. This should be academic here. The Moth basically maybe waving the white flag, but however, they're trying to pick up an honor kill right here. 4-2, but they do not pick it up. The Ram goes a bit high. Flare's going out, but however, those chem sprays are true. The Moth, however, has been hull and balloon broken.
There
The
comes the heavy
Flax
flag
should
again.
pick it up. Indeed, it does. Blue wins 5-2. However, I must say, much more competitive than I was expecting it to be.